Hi, welcome to episode 5 of the NoodlKnits podcast. I'm Z, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as NoodlKnits. And we also have a Ravelry group, which you can find by searching NoodlKnits podcast under the group tab on Ravelry. And you're going to want to join, and you'll see why at the end. For starters, I'd like to thank all of my new and returning viewers. My blog has got a lot of views this couple weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I last podcasted. And I would just like to say thank you guys so much for viewing. My blog was mentioned on, my blog and podcast were mentioned on Knitting Podcasts, which is a blog spot, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'll put it in the show notes. But it's just a little blog that lists all these different knitting podcasts, and they mentioned me. They put me in their list, and which kind of makes me feel official. And I got a lot of hits from that. So I'm just really appreciative of all those new viewers. Thank you. And if you do watch my podcast through my blog, I encourage you to please also subscribe on YouTube. My husband kind of gave me incentive to get YouTube subscribers. He said that if I get 100, which I'm halfway there, woohoo! If I get 100, I can get an Amazon Prime membership, which is not like a dare or anything. It's not like he doesn't think I can do it. I think he just, I don't know, he's just being goofy, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll take that challenge. And I think he would have let me get the Amazon Prime membership without getting 100 subscribers, but I thought it sounded fun, so it's a little thing we've got going now. So please subscribe on YouTube. Anyways, I guess let's just get started. This week, I know it's been 2 weeks since I last podcasted, and I'll talk about that in chatter. It's just been I just felt like this last week I just needed a break. So which honestly, going the 2 weeks, I do like podcasting once a week, but going the 2 weeks I was able to kind of get some stuff finished. So now I actually feel like I have something to show you guys, because I did film a podcast last week, but I had so little to show, and I was just so exhausted. I was yawning the whole way through the podcast that I just said no, I'm not posting that, and I deleted it, and I said I'm just gonna wait, and then next Monday I'll have something to show and I'll be well rested. So I do have things to show. Okay, so I've got one finished object and one half object, and I feel like I have a lot of whips this time. It was like a whole lot of just random cast-ons. I was bored. Okay, my one finished object is I finally finished my second Hermione sock. Woo! I feel like that really deserves a 10-second dance party. So it's super awkward, but anyways. Yes. Yay! Okay. And I think honestly I realized that the reason this took me so long is because it's got a texture pattern, and I thought that would be so much fun to do this texture pattern, and it would be so pretty, and it is. It's very pretty. But I realized that I really like doing socks that are vanilla, just plain stockinette stitch, because that is so easy and it's fast, and this made me so bored. I think I got so bored of the texture pattern after the first sock that I really did not want to work on the second one. But I did get them finished. Yay! So it's the Hermione Everyday sock. I did the texture pattern and everything, but I did a Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which I love the Fish Lips Kiss Heel pattern, and then I did a square toe because is easy and it fits my toe well. Although I think I'm gonna try the rounded toe soon. Try it again. Just make the foot longer. Okay, So that's my one FO. And my one half object is I finished one Reggio Arnie and Carlos sock. I actually finished this sock and then went back and did my second one of these. So I think I needed to have the break to be able to finish. But I've got one of these, which this is so pretty. This is the Reggio Arnie and Carlos in the fall night colorway, which I personally think it looks like a fall night. I mean, you've got the orange and the reds, which I guess are like fall leaves, and then this is like a starry sky or something, and this could be snow, I guess. I don't know, in some places it snows in the fall. But I don't know, I just really do. I think it looks like a very fall winter sock, and it's very gorgeous. This is just a plain vanilla sock, cast on, 60 stitches on a, okay, I've come to the realization that I guess not all brands of needles do like US 1, US 1.5 to 2.53. So I have a set of Knitter's Pride Dreams DPNs, and they have US 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So they have the one, a US 1 is a 2.25 millimeter needle. That's what it is. And a 1.5 is a 2.5 millimeter needle. And but these needles that I used for the Reggio socks are the Addi Turbo sock rockets, and on their little cord they have printed the size, and it says it's a US 1, but it says 2.5 millimeter, so it's really a US 1.5. So, which is strange because I think my tension on these metal needles is quite a bit tighter than my tension on my wooden needles, which I guess would be normal for most people, because this sock fits kind of snug, not too tight to be uncomfortable, but kind of snug. And these socks are snug, but I feel like this one's just a little bit tighter. Not enough to where it's really that big of a difference, but just a little bit. So it doesn't bother me though. But this is 60 stitches on a US 1.5. And then I just did the ribbing, one by one rib for 2 inches. And then I just did plain stockinette all across the cuff and foot, and I did a fish lips kiss heel and a square toe with 24 stitches total, I think, Kitchener. So it's kind of a very square toe. So that's just a really plain sock. That one I did pretty fast considering like what all was going on. So those are my finished objects and half objects. And then I've got several whips. So I started a sock yarn blanket. I've got 1 square so far. 1 square. But now I finished my Hermione sock, so now I can add another square of this. This is my Jinx, I think it's Jinx Yarn Strong Sport in the House Cup colorway. So all of the rest of my squares, or most of the rest of them, will be like sock yarn, like fingering weight. But I don't think it'll be a big deal if a couple of them are sport. I just don't think it'll be a big deal. So this is my one little square. It's got, I did a provisional cast on. Here's my scrap yarn. And I did like this twisty kind of provisional cast on. It's not the crocheted one. It's like, it's kind of cool. You just kind of take your scrap yarn and your working yarn and just twist them around each other and then cast on like onto the needle. So you're like twisting it, or you're twisting your working yarn around the scrap yarn and then you twist it onto the needle. It's kind of interesting. I'll link the tutorial that I followed in the show notes. I followed a knitty.com tutorial. It was really simple. And then I'm kind of using the Memories blanket by, I don't remember who it's by, but I'll link that in the show notes. I'm kind of doing that in this part. So in the fact that it's 40 stitches, and then at 20 stitches, like right before the 20, or at 20 stitches, I will knit 2 together, knit 1 SSK. That's really the only thing I'm following, that pattern. Like oh, and the way that they're added. So instead of like all of the middles going all the same direction or something, it's going to be a middle here, and then a middle here, and then like, it's like they're stacked on top of each other instead of all connecting in a certain way. So that's really it though. Otherwise, I did a provisional cast on, and at the beginning of each row I slip a stitch, and at the end of each row I knit each stitch through the back loop, so that I get this like edge that's really easy to pick up the stitches. It gives me less stitches to pick up, so whenever I think it's only 17 or something, so whenever I cast on like the edge of the next square, I have to cast on extra stitches and then pick up these, but I don't think it's a big deal. I still know where the middle is, and I'll still have the middle in the same spot, but we'll see how that goes. It might look terrible, but for what I'm thinking, I think it'll be okay, and I'd rather have an easy edge to pick up my stitches along than to have like to figure out which stitches I need to get. And this is how much of that I have left, and it's quite dense. I don't have a scale, so I can't measure it to like weigh it to see how many grams it is, but it's this like little mini skein, and I just don't really have anything else. I just don't think I have anything else that I can make with it, because it's so small. I don't think it's enough for a pair of socks for my son. So I could probably make it into, depending on how many grams it is, I could probably make it into like 2 mini skeins and send them out. And I feel like I'm gonna have a whole lot of this left over too. Like, that's a pretty fat ball. Oops. I guess my feet are pretty small, so they don't take a whole lot of yarn to make one pair. So if you'd like to send me mini skeins for my sock yarn blanket, hit me up and I'll send you some of these, I guess. That's one whip, and I'm using my Addy Turbo Sock Rockets for that. And then another whip that I started just kind of because I was really bored of working on my Hermione sock, and I just wanted to cast on a hat. I just really wanted to knit a hat for some reason. So I cast on in my alpaca bag. I cast on a 3x1 ribbed hat. If you can see it, this is the 3x1, and it's, I don't even remember how many stitches. It's a lot. Not really. It's like 80, I think, 80 something. But it is in the middle of a row for whatever reason. And I'm doing it on size 9 needles, and it is bulky weight yarn that I just got at Hobby Lobby last year to make boot cuffs, because I had 2 requests for boot cuffs. So I had used this yarn to make boot cuffs, and I got way too much of it. And I ended up making a baby hat too, and now I'm doing this. And I don't think I'm going to have enough to finish the whole hat, but I don't know. Hopefully I do. And if I do, it'll just go into a gift box, because I think it's a pretty manly hat. It'll look good for a man, like it's pretty masculine. And so I'll just put it in a gift box, and maybe I'll get someone for Christmas that's a dude. So, I love this chunky from, well, the glare, from Hobby Lobby, and it's just pure acrylic, but it's really soft. Oh, hey, it's Oklahoma City, that's funny. And it's in the pearl gray colorway. And it is 100% acrylic, bulky yarn, just basic. It's soft, but have you ever noticed that like all of like acrylic yarns have that kind of feel? Like even if they're really like pretty nice and soft, they've got the they've kind of got a shine to them, and then on top of that they're kind of just plasticky feeling. I can't describe it any other way. Like when you rub it between your fingers, it just feels strange. Like squeaky. Yeah, that's a good one. It's kind of squeaky. Okay, so that's one whip, 2 whips down. And the last one is in my little like farm animal kind of bag. All 3 of my project bags have something in them right now. That is unheard of for me. But in this one I've just got a dishcloth. My parents wanted dishcloths. My mom wanted dishcloths. And I think my dad is a little bit skeptical as to how well knit dishcloths are gonna work. So I'll show him. But I'm doing, for this, I am doing the maritime face, on the hat, I'm not following a pattern. I just cast on something like 84, I think, stitches. I think it's 84 stitches. That might be wrong. And I'm just doing 3x1 rib. And then whenever I get to the top, I'll just do like knit 1, knit 2 together, purl 1, and then do a row regular, and then I'll do knit 2 together, purl 1. I'll just figure it out, but I'm not following a pattern. I'm just kind of doing it. So this is the Maritime face cloth, but it's supposed to make a 10-inch dishcloth. So face cloth, so I think that's good for a dishcloth. They want big ones, so I hope it's big enough. If I get to where it says and it looks like it's not big enough, then I can just make it bigger. It's not a big deal. And it's knit kind of like it's kind of knit like the grandma's favorite dishcloth or whatever that everybody has knit by this point, where you cast on a few amount of stitches at the bottom and then you just increase to make it square. Except this one has a cabled edge. So you knit these 6 stitches and then you just do garter stitch, and then you make sure that on the wrong side you're purling your edge stitches. So I really like it. I really like that it's got the cabled edge because it just adds something, like it adds a flair to something basic. And that is by Alison Griffith. And you can find it on Knit Picks. It's under the 52 weeks of free dishcloths or something like that. It's free pattern. I really like that Knit Picks is doing that, and that's actually where I found my favorite dishcloth pattern. My favorite dishcloth pattern right now is the Starflower dishcloth. I like the way they feel in my hands. They fit perfectly because they're quite small, and they just are my favorite things to do dishes with. So that's all I use, and I only have 4 of them I think right now because I just been slacking off not wanting to knit dishcloths, which I don't dislike knitting dishcloths, I just haven't been wanting to do them. But I only have like 4 right now, and so whenever they're dirty I have to wash them so that I have them again, because I'll feel really like I don't like doing dishes with the other dishcloths I have. But this one's really fun so far. So I have to make on this color, and I might be able to get 2 dishcloths out of one skein for this color, and then they have another color that they want me to use too. And I might find another pattern to do also for them. So those are my current whips. And I generally don't have a whole lot of whips, so having 3 for me is a lot. My only plans are ones that you'll have heard several times. So, you know, Rose City roller socks and the vanilla striped socks. So, Rose City roller socks and vanilla striped socks would be them together. And then I really want to do the poncho, and I really want to do a featherweight cardigan. I have I'm having some kind of love affair with fingering weight yarn right now, with sock yarns. Which is crazy because around this time last year, I was really into, I think, bulky yarns. And I made a lot of hats for Christmas last year. And so I was just in this weird thing of really liking bulky yarns. And now I'm in this weird thing of I just really love fingering weight yarn and sock yarn. Fingering weight and sport weight. I'm just really in love with those two right now. So I really want to make a featherweight cardigan. I don't know how long it'll be before I can make a featherweight cardigan. Just like because I'm really wanting to do the poncho first. And I'm not going to be able to buy two like sweater amounts of yarn at one time. So I'm going to have to probably do the featherweight later. So that's all for that. I really need to make something for Rowan. It's been a while since I made something for him. I probably need to make him a sweater before winter. And then I don't have any stash enhancement right now. No smooshy goodness. I just don't have any. And then, oh, here is the good news. This is why you want to be in my Ravelry group right now. I am, as of today, launching a knit along. So it'll be a 6-month, I guess, knit along, because this is what sparked this. I have this beautiful new dresser back here. I've been living without a dresser for quite a while now, and this is the first time I've actually like owned my own dresser, like it's my dresser. And I'm not sharing it with someone else. Like me and my husband aren't sharing this dresser because he's getting his own dresser. And this is just my dresser. And so I have all these drawers. And so one of them I decided to dedicate to hand knit socks. So I am launching a knit along, an Operation Sock Drawer knit along. Literally for me, it is Operation Sock Drawer. It is, let's fill this drawer with socks. Literally. So I would love to see the socks you guys make. So I will be making a thread in the Ravelry group. In my NoodlKnits podcast Ravelry group, I'll be making a thread. And this knit along will go a while, since it's going to take a while to knit, you know, any amount of socks that could be considered for a sock drawer. And I think a lot of people do Operation Sock Drawer as like a year-long thing. But for the sake of this, I'll just, you know, start it now, and then I'll end it January 1st. So, I don't have prizes or anything right this minute. It's something I'm going to have to think about and deliberate on. But I'm thinking I will do prizes. So, I will have a chatter thread, and then I will have the finished objects thread. And the finished objects thread is no chatter, because that is where I will go to draw a winner, a prize winner. And the prizes will probably be yarn, or maybe also a needle roll or a DPN hood or something. But for sure one of the prizes will be yarn, and for sure there will be one prize. There might be more. I'll figure something out, but for sure one of the prizes will be yarn. And I'll probably do another prize where I sew up like a needle case or something. But they won't be anything super amazing or anything. Or maybe, you know what, maybe one of the prizes will be a paid pattern or something. Who knows? I mean, I have 6 months to decide before, but I'll tell you guys what the prizes will be before then. I just need a little time to decide, because this was kind of like a last minute thought that I had this week, like the other day. So, to enter, you have to post a finished pair of socks, both socks, in the finished object thread. And you can enter as many pairs of socks as you want. You cannot enter the same pair of socks multiple times. So I encourage you to use different yarns, because if you use the same yarn for 2 different pairs of socks, I will probably delete the second pair of socks unless it is a noticeably different pattern. Like unless one of them was a super plain vanilla sock and then the other one was a lace pattern sock or something. If you're going to use the same yarn for 2 different pairs of socks, make sure you use a noticeably different pattern on the second pair. So do like a texture pattern or a completely different lace pattern or something interesting, so that they definitely look different. Or make the heel look different, like don't do the same heel on both socks or something. But otherwise have fun with it. And then if you only knit 1 pair of socks this whole time, then go ahead and enter. That gets you 1 entry. But if you knit like 50 pairs of socks between now and January 1st, then that is 50 entries. But you have to post in the thread, okay? I'm not gonna be able to draw your name unless you pick from the thread, because I'm gonna use a random number generator and I'm gonna use the post numbers. So you have to post your finished pairs of socks in the finished object thread. And I'm starting today. So if you're currently working on a pair of socks, so let's say you have one done, or you have the first one on the needles, or you have one done and it's been done for over a year and you just never got to cast on the second one, finish it. That counts, because I'm starting today and it's whatever unfinished pairs you have, and it's more fun if it's motivated, and I'm motivating you to finish those pairs of socks that you never finished so that you can win a prize in January 1st. So that's fun. That's exciting. This is my first ever knit along. Yay! I'm hosting my first ever knit along. So the other reason that I'm also letting this go out, be such a long knit along, is also since I'm such a fresh podcaster and this is only my 5th episode, I don't have that many like viewers and followers. So I want to get a chance to have more people be entering, and it not just be like 3 people entering multiple times, and it's definitely going to be like, let's say I get 3 prizes, definitely those 3 people are going to win those prizes. I want it to be, there's a chance of more people entering. But that is also, you know, you need to be in the Ravelry group to enter that, because you have to be posting in the thread, because I can't take it from my YouTube subscribers or my Instagram followers. It has to be like the people that post the pictures in the thread. It's just, that's the way it goes, because if you're going to use a number generator. Okay, but I also made a hashtag for that. That's, so that, you know, you like, I mean, everybody likes posting their finished things on Instagram. So, you finish a pair of socks, you post it on Instagram, and you can hashtag NoodlKnits OSDKAL. So that's NoodlKnits Operation Sock Drawer Knit Along, but Operation Sock Drawer KAL was like this really long hashtag. So it's just hashtag NoodlKnits OSDKAL. And I wanted it to have NoodlKnits in it because so many people do Operation Sock Drawer and Operation Sock Drawer Knit Alongs that I wanted to be able to find the people that are doing this specific one. That way I can, when I'm scrolling Instagram at night before I go to sleep, I can easily find the people who are doing this. That would be fun. And I hope you guys join that. And I'm sure I'll have other knit-alongs and stuff, but this one was super easy since I'm not like a knitwear designer. I can't just do a knit-along of this is my new pattern, let's all do it together. So this was something super easy that it wasn't going to be like stealing other people's designs or something and making a thing out of it. So I hope you guys join that. I hope that actually gets some momentum and people do it, because otherwise I'll probably have to nix it and say never mind, there's not any prizes because nobody was a part of it. Okay, the podcasts I've been watching, or I've really only been like watching one new podcast this week or 2 weeks, and that is the Yarn On Over podcast. And she is actually having a knit along right now too, because she's about to take a break from podcasting for about a month because she's doing something, I think, for school. And so or like some kind of summer program. She's in high school still. So, which I love that she's such a young knitter, because I feel like if I had known what all knitting like encompassed, that it wasn't just like flat plain scarves of knit and purl and just boring plain garter stitch scarves, I feel like I would have stuck with knitting since I learned it, and I would have knit through high school, and that would have been awesome, I think, because I think that would have been something that I could have done on campus at lunch or something, and just I don't know, maybe it would have helped me pay attention or something, because I like to have something to do with my hands when I'm like listening. So I just think it's really cool that she knits, and she's in high school still. She is currently having a knit along because she's taking this break, and so she still wanted to be able to interact with her viewers over Ravelry and see what they're doing and all of that stuff. So she is having a, it is hashtag hiatus cow for your neck, and so it's just anything that you wear around your neck, a shawl or a scarf or a cowl, anything like that is welcome in her knit along. And she is going, her prize is going to be a surprise skein from her, a surprise skein from her stash is going to be the prize for that. So I encourage you to watch her podcast and go join in on that too. She's very sweet and fun, and I enjoy watching her podcast. Sorry about the little person. And so that's the Yarn On Over podcast, which I think is a cute name. And okay, last thing before chatter, I would like to start interacting more with my viewers and the people in, I guess I want to have more people in our Ravelry group so that there's a little bit more going on in the Ravelry group, and I'd like there to be more going on in the Ravelry group. So from now on, right before I do the chatter section, I want to ask my viewers a question. So this week's question is, what is your favorite thing to knit at the moment? Because I know everybody changes, and over time, like, you'll start liking something else. Right now, my current favorite thing to knit is socks, which is a little bit obvious. I just love it. And on an extension to the question, so the question is, what is your favorite thing to knit at the moment? Why do you love to knit it? And what got you into it? So at the moment, my favorite thing to knit is socks. I'd have to say, like, overall, I really like doing hats for whatever reason. But at the moment, my favorite thing is socks. And I think that I love to knit it because of the process and the techniques and everything. And I love that wherever you start, you know what's coming up. And then once you hit that milestone, it's like you just have to, it's so much faster because you know, oh, I'm at the halfway point, or I'm a little over half or something. So, you know, I always do my socks cuff top down. So I've never done toe up socks, and partly it's because I'm really paranoid because my bind offs are really tight, and I can do cast ons really loose, but I can't, apparently I'm like, I have trouble binding off loosely. So I'm really paranoid that I'll do a pair of toe up socks and then I'll have to just rip them back and start over because my bind off will be way too tight, and so I haven't done that. So I generally do top down socks, and so once I get past the ribbing, it's like, oh yeah, now it's just stockinette, and then I get to the heel and I turn my heel, and it's exciting that now I just have to finish the foot, and once I'm finished with the foot, I decrease the toes and bind off, and then and like graft the toe, and then I just do a second one, and then but I also really love socks. I have a drawer full of store-bought socks, and I love colorful and fun socks, so that's another incentive for me to finish a pair, is that once I finish them, I'll get to wear them. And so it just seems so fast for me, the process of, you know, once you get past this part, then you just have plain, and then once you get past this part, you're almost there and you just have to do this part, and once you get past this part and you're about like right here ish, like once you're a couple of rows past your heel turn, you can start trying it on to see how far you have left to go and to see what it's going to look like on your foot and to feel how it fits. And that's just fun for me. I just enjoy doing that. I love it. So that's my favorite thing right now. And I tried socks about a year ago, and I have this one lonely sock that I really don't think I'm ever going to finish the other one because I just fell out of love with the yarn. And so I've got this one sock, and I just really wanted to learn to do socks because I saw a lot of people doing socks and I thought it would be easy. And I finished one and it fits fine, and I just don't think I'll ever do the second one because I'm really out of love with that yarn. And so the thing that really got me back into it was a couple months ago, or not, I guess sometime in May, I got this swap package that had 2 skeins of sock yarn in it and sock needles because the person who sent it to me loves knitting socks. And so I got really stoked for knitting these skeins into socks. And once I finished that first pair, I was hooked. I was like, I can knit all the socks in the world. They're so easy. It's just, especially vanilla socks, they're so fast and easy, and I like to get things done, and I like to do them quickly so that they're done, and then I can start the next thing. So that's why I love what I love at this moment. So in the chatter thread for this episode on Ravelry, please tell me what your favorite thing is to knit and why you love it and what got you into it, or what got you to love it. So now to chatter. So if you don't want to hear about my personal life, that doesn't interest you, you're just here for the knitting, I hope you have a great week and happy knitting. And if you're sticking around, thanks for caring. Or not caring, that sounds terrible. It sounds like those people don't care. It's not that they don't care, it's that this is my personal life and it has nothing to do with knitting. So I completely understand if you don't want to hear it. So if you do want to hear it, that's kind of cool. Thank you. We got back from Oklahoma last Saturday. So not this Saturday that was just 2 days ago, but the one before that. And on, what day was it? I guess it was Monday. I filmed a whole podcast, and through the whole thing, it was Monday or Tuesday, but through the whole thing I was yawning uncontrollably, and I felt really scatterbrained. I didn't have any notes. I barely had anything off the needles. I had this one sock done at that point, and I was just barely past the ribbing on the Hermione sock, and there was so little going on, and I had just felt like I had had no time to knit at all because of traveling and then getting home and trying to unpack and get things clean, like cleaning laundry and kind of getting my house back to the way I like it. Since I hadn't been here for 2 weeks, it kind of wasn't in the order that I keep it because it was just my husband home. So I was trying to just kind of catch up and get back into the groove of being home. So that's why I didn't film last week. But honestly, it felt so good to just have a break. And I know I haven't been filming for so long, but I think just because in the time that I have been filming, I went on a trip, and I feel like that really drained me, filming while I was gone and having taken that trip. And so it felt really nice to just take a break and focus on just knitting and not having to worry about a podcast. Not that they take a whole lot of effort or time, not that they worry me, it's just that filming it and then editing it kind of takes a little bit of effort and time, especially with a 2-year-old around. So it was just kind of nice to just take a break and then just get caught up on some Netflix and shows and knit and relax. So I think I just kind of needed that just to like get back in the groove of being home and not have to worry about doing some work while I'm trying to get back in the groove of being home. So it's just nice to I mean, I'm glad to be home. I do miss my family, but I am glad to be home because it's a lot less hectic and it's just really calm, and everything is at the pace that I want it to be, and I'm not having to worry about is Rowan fighting with someone, or so it's just nice to be back into my my nest and my schedule and stuff, because I'm quite a homebody. So I'm sorry I haven't seen you guys. Sorry I haven't been here for 2 weeks, but I have become one of those people that I've always got a knitting project with me, and so I'll be going over to families to socialize and I'll be sitting there knitting, and I really hope that my family doesn't think that that's rude, that I really hope that they're not hoping I would just put it away, because I think that I'm pretty good about socializing while I'm knitting. I just like to do both at the same time. I just like to always be knitting. I like to have that thing going on in my hands. So I hope that's not an annoyance. I like to think that my family would tell me if it was. And my husband hasn't told me, and he's the one that's the most honest with me. He's the one that's like, why don't you put that away? So I think that I'm doing okay, hopefully. But I also don't know. Maybe my husband wouldn't tell me to put my knitting away because I might bite his head off. Anyways, I'm kind of just rambling now, so I'll wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. I definitely like podcasting once a week, so bi-weekly isn't going to become a new thing. It was just a little break. And I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you have a great week, and happy knitting. Bye.